Welcome back to Softwoods ASMR. If you're new here, a very warm welcome to you as well. This is going to be a very tingly and bookish video. We'll look at almost 20 books. I've got two piles over here, and it will also be a very conversational video as we get to know each other, because some weeks ago I requested that you leave a comment describing something that you love, whether a hobby or something that inspires you or brings you joy. So I have those answers here, and even if you didn't participate, you're in for a treat. You're in for a treat because the answers are absolutely beautiful. Some of the answers are adorable, and some are very poetic, and I think they'll resonate in some way with everyone. And you'll find beauty and sweetness in them, just as I did. And it's such a nice way to get to know you, even if only a glimpse into who you are. I typed them out and printed off a page and then cut the answers into strips. So there's a lot in here. And then I shuffled them so that they wouldn't be in any particular order. And I'm going to read each one of these answers. Each one of these answers. And then connect to your answer with my own reflection, and connect the answer and my reflection to a book from my shelf that I've gathered over here into two piles. So this is also a 3K celebration and a thank you video, so thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here in the Softwoods, as I like to imagine us. So let's get started with these answers and the books and my reflections as a way to connect with these answers. So the first one, I'll just repeat the question again. I asked if you could leave a comment describing something that you love, whether a hobby, something that inspires or brings you joy. And the first answer is from Resmutable. And it goes like this. I love books and how they can inspire me and express emotions that I don't always have words for. They also show my imagination to grow and expand. I love this answer, and I relate to this so much. I've always turned to books, whether for escape or for connecting with others, for trying to understand other people and their realities and learning about what other people experience. And I find it always very mind-opening. So I relate to this answer very much. And I just had so many books that I thought, offered me something like this. Something that opened my mind. I have so many books that did just that. So for this answer, I really wanted to just show you this book, The Sleeping Car Porter. And this really explores a hidden history and sheds light on an experience that had previously been hidden from history or from the stories available to us. I'll read a little bit from the back. It says it's 1929, and Baxter is considered lucky as a black man to have a job as a sleeping car porter on a train that crisscrosses the continent. He has to smile for the white passengers, not too much and not too little, and when they call him George, he just has to nod and look invisible. Meanwhile, he's obsessed with teeth and saving up enough nickel and dime tips to pay for dentistry school. On this particular trip west, the passengers are more unruly than usual, especially when the train is stranded for days in the mountains. The passengers' secrets start to leak out and blur with the sleep deprivation hallucinations Baxter's having. And then, when he finds an illicit postcard of two men, Baxter's memories and longings are reawakened. Keeping the postcard puts his job in peril, but he can't part with it, or his thoughts of a certain Edwin Drew Porter instructor. So it gives you a little glimpse and a little idea of what this book is about, and a book that really opened up my mind and my world to this character's reality. Let's look at the next question. The next answer. This one is from Ashtabrasik. And the answer reads as follows. I love the ever-changing sky, the weather, all the clouds and colors, and also old maps. I love this answer. I too am a huge fan of skies, sky gazing, cloud gazing, and the weather that affects the sky. I recently heard about a society called something like Cloud Appreciation Society, and I definitely want to become a member of a society with a name like that. that when we take time to look up at the sky, we can really reconnect with our childhoods, because I think as children we often look up at the sky and just have that sense of wonder, and it's like to look up the sky and get into that headspace is very freeing. I just love this answer. And I thought another way to connect with this answer would be to show you a few things. Well, you also said you like old maps, so I have a couple of books here. One is this one. I haven't read this book. It's called A History of Canada in 10 Maps. There's the author there. This book belongs to my partner, but I see a little note in here. I see in the center of this book there are quite a few maps in here, and they're definitely old maps. This is it's a world map from 1550, and it shows Canada and features unicorns, ostriches, and strange beehive-like dwellings. It's fascinating. I have to keep, here's my glasses. I have to keep taking them on and off because it's kind of, I can see that the lighting here looks lighter than it is. It's quite dark, so it's kind of hard to read in this lighting. Plus, my glasses are for distance, and I have to keep taking them on and off to read. So, yeah, so lots of maps in this book, and I do want to read this. It's just that I have so many books that I want to read, and my partner recommends this to anyone who enjoys maps. But I also wanted to show you this book here. This is All the Odes, Pablo Neruda. And in here, I wanted to read a little bit of something for you, the cloud lover. I'm sure that many of you are cloud lovers. Like, who doesn't love clouds? Okay, so Ode to Clouds. On the left here is the poem in Spanish, and here it is in English. And I'm going to read just a little bit, a little excerpt. Here I am taking off my glasses again. Okay, let's see, what does it say here? Yes. Clouds of southern skies, winged clouds, clouds of whitest steam, heaven's clothing, petals, perfect fish of summertime. You are heavenly girls, lying on your backs in grass and on beaches. Of spreading sky, silk in sunlight, white springtime, the sky's childhood, splashed across the heavens, rushing by, lofted lightly on air. Giant feathers of light, nests of water, and now a single filament of flame or rage ignites meadows of sky and blooming almond trees. And it goes on. It is gorgeous. What a beautiful poem. Ode to Clouds. And look at that. It goes on for another 2 pages. I like how he does talk about childhood. I was just speaking of that. And the association of clouds with childhood. And seeing animals and mythical beings in the clouds. Ode to Clouds. Okay, so the next we have here by Ben Chen. Ben Chen, thank you. Said, I love all the things that were already mentioned, and I love connecting with people and getting to know different personalities, cultures, and interests. I too love to get to know different people, different personalities and people from different cultures, various cultures. I think one way, outside of just, meeting and talking to people, another way to get to know different cultures or cultures other than your own would be through food. It's one way that I love to explore and understand and just cherish what other cultures have developed in their cuisines. And another is music, of course. I actually always want to ask if anyone here would love to see my CD collection one day in a video. I have a huge collection of CDs, records, like vinyl, and also cassette tapes. So I thought maybe I could start with CDs. And I do have a lot of world music in my collection, among other genres of music. But because this is going to be more of a bookish video, I thought I would share this book. Poetry Unbound, 50 Poems to Open Your World. I read this front to back, and I highly recommend it because there are poets featured in here from every continent. Yeah, every continent, and the poems are beautiful. And this person here, I don't want to mispronounce his name in Irish, but he's a poet himself, and he has a podcast, and the podcast name is Poetry Unbound. So I highly recommend this book. On to the next question. Thank you to each of you so far whose answers I've read. I keep saying is from Catherine NV or Catherine V or something like that. Catherine. And this person says, I love my orange cat, Charlie. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. I love your cat too. Charlie sounds very cute, and there's just something so special about an orange cat, isn't there? I'm a cat lover. This is the first time in my life that I don't have a cat. My cat is, my cats, that's what I mean. They have all passed on. I've had cats since I was a child. And I had my first cat at the age of 2, and it grew up with me. And then I had another cat when I first left home as a young adult. And then I had a cat with, it was like more my family, like my new family cat. And I really miss her so much. She was such a sweetheart, and I honestly just feel like she's like a little ghost in my life, if that makes sense. Like her spirit is still with me. I have her ashes in a little pink urn, and she's just a petite little girl, so sweet. I could like have a whole video devoted to this special little kitty cat. But for yours, I'm just gonna take a sip of my mint tea. I'm going to show you something from a book. Sorry about the little background noise, it's just a chair. This has been featured, I think, in one of my previous videos, Bibliophile. And it's by Jane Mount. And I know that there's an orange cat in here somewhere. Oh, it looks like I flagged it. So, did I flag it for the orange cat or something else? No. Let's find the orange cat. It's either a bookstore cat or a famous author's cat. Looks like there's two. There are two bookstore cats that are orange. So we have this one here is Apollo. And Apollo, here's Apollo. Apollo is a cat that lives at the Iliad bookshop. And Apollo lives in that bookshop with this cat Zeus. I would love to meet both Apollo and Zeus. That bookshop is in California. Did I just say that? And here's another one over here. This cat is called Nietzsche. Nietzsche, after the philosopher. And that's a cute name too. So Nietzsche was adopted from Safe Haven Animal Shelter in 2008. He loves kids and going for rides in their strollers. And he lives in the Bookman in British Columbia. The bookshop called the Bookman. If you want me to do a video all about cats, let me know, because I love cats. I feel like I will be referring to this one again, so I'm going to keep it over here. Thank Thank you so much, Catherine and P. The next answer is from I hope I pronounce this right. Diane Weiner. Correct me if I'm wrong. My children have given me so much joy, love, comfort, and purpose. How beautiful. That's so sweet. I like the word comfort in there, purpose, of course, joy and love, and I relate to all of these feelings and emotions as I too am a mother. And I thought it would be fun to look at this book here. Someone gave this to me. Since everything I need to know I learned from a little golden book, which is the children's books. Little golden books. It's a cute little gifty book that I received. So let's read a little bit. Everything I need to know I learned from a little golden book. Is your life starting to feel like a circus? There's down here, it quotes which book the illustration is from. So each page shows an illustration from a different golden book. Don't panic. Today's a new day. Get dressed first thing. Sweatpants are bad for morale, but put on something nicer. Do you agree with that? I think sweatpants can be good for the morale sometimes. Have some pancakes. Yes, please. Get some exercise every day. Frolic. That's my favorite so far, frolic. I hope to do something like that later. Daydream, another favorite. Do you love to daydream? I do. Go on a joyride. Stargaze. This one's for you too, who loves the clouds and the skies. Stroll. Birdwatch. Treat yourself. The simplest things are often the most fun. Look at that. So cute. And it goes on. It's very adorable. It's like a book for adults about children's books and how we learn the best of things from them. Okay. Thank you for that answer. I love this answer from Estefany Perez. Thunderstorms and daffodils. Thunderstorms and daffodils. I love this because it's like it says a lot about your personality, or a little bit at least. it makes me think that maybe you have an appreciation for extremes, like thunderstorms are such extreme weather events, even have a little bit of like danger in them, and I love thunderstorms too. And then daffodils, just such a delicate, beautiful flower of hope, like with hope symbolisms. I love this answer. Simple, but says a lot. So I wanted to return to the Odes book again and share a little bit from Ode to Storm, if I can find it. Ode to Storm. Sorry if that's loud. $6.84. Okay. Ode to the Storm. Last night she came, livid, night blue, wine red, the tempest with her hair of water, eyes of cold fire. Last night she wanted to sleep on earth. She came all of a sudden, newly unleashed, out of her furious planet, her cavern in the sky. She longed for sleep and made her bed, sweeping jungles and highways, sweeping mountains, washing ocean stones, and then, as if they were feathers, ravaging pine trees to make her bed. And it goes on. It perfectly describes a storm, but in such a unique way. Now, let's go to the next answer here. Dream Landing. Dream Landing says, I love coffee shops and how they cultivate a sense of community in neighborhoods. A sense of community in neighborhoods. That's so true. I mean, I love coffee shops for the coffee, but it's so true. What an insight that I've really never thought of in those words. Really appreciate that. I've been thinking about that because I really do feel a sense of community when I hang out in coffee shops, when I work there, if I want to write or just sit and people watch, and you end up striking up a conversation. You get to know the baristas. I love that. And I thought I would show you a coffee shop here that's in this book. A unique coffee shop. It is called Amalgam Comics and Coffee House. So it's one of the coffee shops featured in this book. And it says here, Ariel Johnson is the East Coast's first black female comic bookstore owner. She works to make her Philly shop Amalgam Comics and Coffee House inclusive. She works to make her Philly shop Amalgam Comics and Coffee House inclusive, a space where everyone sees themselves. And it's cool that it's such a specific genre of books that she sells in this coffee shop bookstore. It sounds really cool. And I love that it's inclusive and it kind of highlights and touches on something that you're saying, dream landing, which is that they cultivate community, a sense of community. Thanks so much for that answer, because I've been thinking about that a lot since I read it. Now here's an answer from AUK7447. And I love it. It's a one-word answer. Dancing. Dancing. That's got me wondering what style of dance you like. I too like dancing, but something that I never did any formal training. I asked my mom if I could take ballet when I was about 8 years old, and she said because I was enrolled in a few different types of music lessons, she was like, you don't have time for that, sorry. Like you'd have to give up one of your music classes if you want to do dance. So I didn't give up my music classes, but I did take a couple of classes. She did cave when I was about 13, and I took a few classes with my friends, 2 friends. And I do enjoy dance. Like, I enjoyed school dances, and like when I was in my early 20s, I loved going to clubs and dancing with my friends in clubs. That was a very fun time. But I will step back in time again to my childhood and show you this book that is from my childhood. It's called Karen Kane, Lady of Dance. This is a very old book, and I don't even know if you could find this today. It's really old. So, Karen Kane. It's all about her life, her training, and, it's a lot of photographs. And I have some pages in here that I ripped out very carefully, and I traced them. I traced a few of these ballerina pictures, and I made silhouettes with black construction paper of Karen Kane in motion, and I put them on my wall. And then I was about maybe 10 years old when I did that. And I went to go see The Nutcracker with my mom when I was young. And then I took my own child to see The Nutcracker as well. Karen Kane. Do you know of Karen Kane? I'm sure you do. Do you love her? Yeah. Really cool book. I'm so happy I held on to this one from my past. Thank you so much for that. It was fun to look at that book again. Here's one from Aubrey. Either Aubrey's or Aubrey Z or Z. Aubrey. And the answer here is, I love how the earth changes with the seasons and how each is beautiful and special in its own way. to me. I just feel like a child in this way, that I get so excited about all the changes occurring in nature. My favorite season is fall. I love fall, winter, and spring. I'm of two minds about summer. Part of me, I love it because there's so much bounty and it's so beautiful. Like, you just see so many birds, and where I live anyway, it's very, very, very hot, like too hot for me in the summer. I would love to live in a more temperate environment, but our summers are very hot and humid, and our winters are very, very cold and snowy and icy. So I prefer the cold and snow. I'm one of those rare people who actually loves winter. But I mean, it's not that I don't like summer. I do like it, but of the 4 seasons, it's my least favorite. But I still love it. But for books, I thought appropriate for this answer, I recommend Basho, The Complete Haiku, because, and this is featured in one of my videos about haiku, because these poems are always, haikus always about the seasons, and they're such short little moments. They describe such short little moments, but they have such huge impact. And I'm not sure what happened to my book just now. 1 second here. Yeah, so if you're a lover of the seasons, it's so lovely to sit with these. They're almost like little meditations, because you can sit and just open this book up anywhere and read something that brings you into the moment of the scene described. Like I said, always about a season and always about nature. Thank you so much for that answer. And then we have something from Desiree Meredith 4929. He says, spending time in nature and gardening. As an answer to what is something you love. Spending time in nature and gardening. It's so nice to learn these things about each of you, and with this one in particular, again, I completely relate. I also love spending time in nature and gardening. I just find it grounds and uplifts me every time. There's somebody, I can't remember who said this. It's a writer from maybe the 1800s. I don't know. From some time in the past. And he said, like, if you, this is paraphrased, if you have a problem, or you're feeling down, or you're having a bad day, and you're able to go for a walk, and if you come back from your walk and you are still feeling that way, go for another walk, which is just in nature, which is just so true. Like, I find that walking can take the edge off. A little bit. A difficult time if I'm able to get out and walk. But yeah, nature and gardening, and I'm just really obsessed with the whole thing. Nature and gardening. I garden daily, and I'm outside every day. In the morning is my time to get out there, especially in the summer because it's just too hot. But what I have here is a bird book, and I thought I would share a picture or two. Oh, here. So I'm going to tell you a story about a chickadee that visited my yard yesterday. It's the black cap chickadee. It was this bird. I was sitting having my morning coffee under a pretty big shade tree from my neighbor's yard. It overhangs into my tiny little yard. And this chickadee landed on a branch, and it was very close to a branch where I've hung a few different chimes, like some larger chimes and a few little tiny chimes. And it sat there and almost like stared at me and stared. It looked at me and then it would look at the chime, it seemed like. And it just suddenly went to the chime and chimed it, like with its beak. It was so purposeful. It wasn't an accident. It went over and chimed it with its beak. And I was mesmerized, to say the least. I couldn't believe it. I was looking it up after, like, what does this mean? Why would a bird do this? And some of the answers I found in different articles were that they actually, if they know that something like that will make a sound, they'll hit it with their beak just to hear the chime for fun. So, I don't know, it just felt meaningful to me. I was like, maybe that's one of my relatives that's passed on. If you believe that sort of thing, like I do. A lot of people say that if you see a cardinal, it can be a lost loved one. A lost loved one. And I have seen a lot of cardinals lately. I like to believe things like that. Thank you so much for that, Desiree Meredith 4929. And we have, by the way, I hope I pronounced that right. The next is from this person here. And the answer is, I love falling asleep to the sounds of my cat purring on the pillow by my head. That's so cute. What a nice sound. Purring is, I really miss that sound. And I used to like when she would lie down. My cat would lie down on my chest or my stomach, and when she would purr, not only I would love the sound, but the sensation of the vibration of her purring was so relaxing to me. So another way I thought I could connect with that is this little book that is a family favorite in my house called Millions of Cats. And the story follows this couple here, and she's very lonely, or they are very lonely, and the woman says, if we only had a cat, and the very old man says, a cat? Yes, a sweet little fluffy cat. I will get you a cat, my dear, he says. And he walks a great distance until he finds all these cats. And it literally says, I don't know if you can see them all, but these are all cats here. And this kind of refrain is repeated throughout the story. It says, cats here, cats there, cats and kittens everywhere, hundreds of cats, thousands of cats, millions and billions and trillions of cats. It's fun to read with a young child because they love to repeat that over and over again throughout the story. There he is, bringing home a cat to his wife. He ends up bringing all these cats. Now that's love, isn't it? And yeah, I highly recommend this to anyone who has not read this. It's a very cute story. Thank you so much for that. now we have, I'm afraid I might mispronounce this, so I'll just put this here. Hope you can see that. An answer from this person who leaves lovely comments. Music brings me much happiness and pleasure, ranging from Baroque and classical to the Beatles and 80s new wave. Sounds like you have very eclectic tastes in music, and same here. I do as well. I'm going to refer to this. This is featured in a few of my videos, 1000 record covers, and I thought I would show. I'll just flip until I find one that shows a favorite. You mentioned Beatles, so I loved the Beatles too growing up, along with music. I grew up in a musical household, and my parents loved music like from the 40s, like big band music. But I have this album. Did you have that? It's of course a classic. We have John and Yoko, Revolver, some more. I have this one, and yeah, I love the Beatles, but I also studied classical music, and I would love to show you my piano book collection. And by book, I mean sheet music and repertoire books. That would be a pretty long video because I have stacks and stacks of sheet music. But I also love folk. I love alternative from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. I've always liked fusion. I like jazz, and have quite a large jazz collection. And as I said earlier, I love world music, so we have quite a few records and CDs especially is what I mean, of world music genre. Well, it's not really a genre. It's a genre, useful genre, but it's just that I have CDs from a lot of different countries. So thank you so much for sharing that. I also am a huge music lover and hope to do more videos. I've had requests to do more like bios and stuff, and I have been thinking about that a lot, and I really do want to make that video and all the videos that have been requested. Here's another answer from Alexandra. And it's a simple answer. Potted plants. Simple answer, but I could go on and on. I have to watch the time because we're getting near an hour almost, but I could go on and on about potted plants. I have a lot of potted plants because I have a small yard, and we've planted quite a few trees and plants in this small yard. I think between bushes and trees, I have planted 17 of them. That includes small, like little yews, if you know what that is, yews, and ornamental trees like Japanese maples, smaller native trees too. But because I've planted so many and used up so much of my yard, I have room now on my patio, so I've started to also put things in pots, and I want to see if I can actually plant a tree successfully in a pot for my patio. I was thinking about a dwarf lotus tree, magnolia, or a lilac tree. I've been reading that you can plant these dwarf trees successfully in pots if you're careful and you wrap them in the winter. So yeah, this book has helped me. $2.98 for this amazing book that gives so many ideas on how to care for and design small gardens. I would love to know what kind of potted plants you have. Do you have any herbs in pots? Right now I have rosemary, basil, kale, and lettuce in some cedar pots, along with some snapdragons and some lavender on my patio. Thank you so much for that, Alexandra O. Next, we have an answer from Jacqueline Wormka. Crochet, especially the planning stage. Lately, I've been doing some knitting instead, and it's been fun to use what I know about looping yarn into fabric, but in a whole new way. Thank you so much for that. I'm quite mesmerized by people who can sew things. I grew up with a very talented mother. She was very good with all kinds of things, sewing related, knitting, crochet. I just never picked it up. I don't know, she taught me I can sew a button. I can sew a button on a pair of pants if a button falls off, or falls off a jacket or something, and that is the extent of it. I can mend a hole. But I never really took to it. My mom made me so many things, and she crocheted so many things for me. And they're like amazing gifts, and it's just such a beautiful talent when someone can do that. For books, I was having a hard time. I knew there were some scenes in different books, like I know there's some sewing scenes in Pride and Prejudice. So I wanted to connect in some way. I went looking and I couldn't find scenes that I remember. Pretty sure there were some sewing scenes in here. Another sewing reference. There's a poem that I couldn't find either in here, and I think it starts with the word autumn, and it's all about, I think, knitting. Those are two references to sewing or knitting in the realm of crochet. It's cool that you like the planning stage, especially. I can relate to that with my writing. I do enjoy planning as well. So thank you so much for this. And then I have something here from Sleepy Bear. Sleepy bear. That's a very cute name. I love animals. I'm inspired by the beauty of wildlife and what it can teach us. So, I thought I would share and recommend The Inner Life of Animals by Peter Wohlleben. And he wrote The Hidden Life of Trees. And I read this a while ago. I did enjoy it. To give you an idea, I'll just read some of the chapter headings. Selfless mother love, instinct, a second-rate emotion, ? Loving people, anybody home, pig smarts. That I liked that one. I do remember pig smarts. I mean, I could read this over again because I know I liked it, but I'm having trouble remembering enough about it to comment. It says, the inner life of animals is an important reminder that while we surely are different from other animals, the similarities in our cognitive, emotional, and moral lives are not only surprising and daunting, but very real. And I have to agree with that. I believe that animals are a lot more intelligent than people give them credit for. Maybe even more intelligent than us in some ways, us humans. I'm a huge lover of animals, and I think that they deserve our protection, especially right now in times like these. And what I mean by that is, as their environments are threatened, it's up to us to help them and support them. That's my belief. That's what I try to do. Because they are voiceless and they are at the mercy of nature and climate change, and only we can help them. Thank you so much for this answer, and for all the answers here. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate that you took the time to comment, and I really appreciate each and every one of you listening, everyone who's part of this community. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you found this video relaxing. Until next time.